Shalom, everyone. Welcome to today's Israel update. I'm Joseph Good. I live in Houston and I have Hatikva Ministries. And with me is Gila Trevitch from Jerusalem. And Gila, many of you know her very well. She has worked as a guide for years, but she's much more. Seems to know everyone in the country and everything. And so Gila is a real asset. Roi Shaposhnik is also with us. He is the head of the Barrack Brigade Association. He is the deputy commander of the Reserve Brigade from Barrack. And so we need to get into. We haven't had an update since the ceasefire with Iran, and so that's been because you've been busy, Roy. And well, where do we start? Where?
Well, I have to say it was a refreshing week. We didn't have to run down to the shelters.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that was quite a relief.
I'm sure. And for 12 days,
right,
every night, every day, and especially the nights, which really began to add up.
Yeah.
And I talked to you the day following the ceasefire, and you said it's so strange. It's like school buses are running, kids are going to school. People are out shopping and everybody's in the coffee shops. And so
as if nothing happened.
As if nothing happened.
Amazing. Yeah.
But I'd like y'all's feedback on how you feel about the ceasefire with Iran. Is Iran going to behave? Do you think they will actually be faithful to the ceasefire? Those kind of questions.
Okay. Rui.
I think we are, shalom, everybody. First of all, I think we have reached to the early stage before of the Iran attack and the Israel 12-day war, as we like to call it over here in Israel. Iran keep on sending over missiles from Yemen through the Houthis. Today in the morning, we had an attempt of an Iranian terrorist to attack the south part of the Golan Heights. So I think in a way we are back to the first stage where Iran and Israel are officially not shooting at each other, but unofficially Iran proxy is all over the place.
Yes.
Add to that, of course, the fact that Iran is not sharing the real information of what's going on with their nuclear facilities in their region. And I think we are back into the same place, even though people are saying, I haven't read any kind of intel about it yet, but people are saying that Iran is stepped a huge step back of about 1 or 2 years with their nuclear capabilities.
That's good, but the problem hasn't disappeared.
No. The Iran is not disappeared. Iran is still there. Huge. It's an issue. I don't think we can say that it's disappeared. But it's definitely something that everybody is now looking towards President Trump and mainly to see what goes on with the negotiation with them. And based on that, we will be able to see what's the upcoming results.
Now,
Joe, let me just remind you that in the Middle East, if you want a solution, do a crossword puzzle. Then you'll get solutions. We just make problems so that we can live with them.
Yeah.
Bring the problems to a point where you can live with it.
Oh.
But the problems don't disappear. They don't get solved.
I've got a question that I haven't asked either one of you about before, but to me, Iran lost a lot of prestige in the Middle Eastern arena. And most of the Arab nations, if not all, had a fear of the power of Iran, the threats of Iran, the various groups that they would sponsor. And so how do you feel that the Israeli success, followed by the American bombing of their nuclear facilities, how do you think that might have changed some of this situation, and what would that have to do with the Abraham Accords?
Joe, my father told me something, that the feeling that he has right now is equivalent to the feeling that he had when he was a soldier during the 6-Day War, or after the 6-Day War. Okay?
Wow.
And I asked him, what do you mean? So he told me, look, we've finished fighting against so many Arab armies in 6 days. We are the best. And that was the feeling that they got after that war. I can tell you that in the majority of the population in Israel, it's a mutual feeling that we have showed Iran that we are stronger than them, that we dominated the sky. We've managed to take out a lot of their facilities and also their rocket launcher. But again, let's be modest and let's try to understand that the threat is still there.
Yes.
It is affecting a lot of neighbor countries. All of a sudden, Syria is approaching Israel and saying, guys, we would like to get into a kind of an Abraham Accord agreement similar to what you have with other countries. All of a sudden, Lebanon is saying, guys, listen, we are going to disarm Hezbollah and let's talk about kind of normalization. Those are things that we never dreamed before what happened with Iran.
Absolutely.
But still,
Absolutely.
but still it's affecting us very strong in so many ways. And I think that's important to say it. That's important to understand that we need to stay modest. We need to stay strong and positive with whatever we have, and to understand that it's still not over. It's still not over. It will be over when all the 50 hostages will be back, and it will be over only when we will understand that we now can focus on rebuild ourselves as Israel.
Right.
Now,
And just let me just add one thing. Roi, that I remember the euphoria after the 6-Day War. I was also here. I didn't actually fight, but I was actually in the military. But we have in hind's view now, we have the experience of what came 7 years later as a result of the euphoria. And 7 years later, we had the Yom Kippur War. That was a tough war. And we know that now. So I think that the whole country pretty much learned the lesson.
In a very metaphoric way, it's like we had the Yom Kippur War on the 7th of October before and now we're like in the 6-Day War.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But you have all these mixed feelings. So I think that people are more careful.
Well, also, I mean, one thing that has been very obvious throughout the situation with Iran, going back to when they first fired the first massive missile barrage, and literally they just didn't get through. But there are so many stories that you've got to you see the hand of God, and that awareness is, I think, an important aspect, and not to take anything away from the Israeli military, but by all means, we want to give glory to God that the successes were there. Okay, so
true.
Now, let's talk a little bit what is going on with Syria, and then let's go to Lebanon. And also, we need to talk about.
We mostly need to go to Gaza because Lebanon and Syria is still up in the air in talk. Gaza, we're fighting, and the fighting is very, very strong and very severe. So much so that they sometimes hear the bombings all the way to Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
So in Gaza, we are still there. Let's face it. I can tell you something that I think it's actually when we will publish this show, it will probably be already in the news, but it looks like we are entering into a 60-day ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah. In these 60 days
With Hamas.
Sorry, Gila, you're right. Apology. With these 60 days, Hamas is going to release 8 to 10 hostages, live hostages. And in these 60 days, we are going to allow humanitarian aid to go into Gaza, and maybe to go into more negotiation about ending the war. I can tell you that President Trump is heavily involved in this right now, mainly due to the fact that he wants to end the war and he wants to enter into a rebuild of Gaza, which, by the way, personally, I think it's a great thing. There are still some political issues that Netanyahu is dealing internal in the government. We will not get into that, but guys, this is the 3rd of July. It is 6:30 in Israel p.m. I believe that by tomorrow morning we will have an official announcement that we have a deal.
In the meantime, the 188th Brigade, what are they doing in Gaza?
So in the meantime, the 188th Brigade is still running inside of Khan Yunis. Unfortunately, we had a very sad tragedy last week. 7 of our soldiers from the 605 battalion,
The engineering battalion.
corps, they got killed. A very, very sad week. We worked very, very hard.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And in the meantime, before Hamas sends an official agreement, the fighting is still very strong, and
the fight is very strong.
Soldiers are still at harm's way, and they still need protection. They still need protection very badly.
And I want to show you guys. I want to show you what's your equipment that we bought thanks to you. What we were able to save our people, our soldiers. So I'm going to show you. I hope you can see my screen right now. There it is. This is a tactical.
Oh my God!
Helmet. This is a tactical helmet that we've bought thanks to your donation. You
so
can
this,
see
this is directly, just so the people understand, this isn't just a helmet that is one of 1,000 helmets.
Mhm.
This is a helmet that is worn by a soldier that was purchased from the funds that the viewers of these updates
Correct.
From the David Fund, the David Fund,
And
Wow.
on a completely different place. This is, by the way,
Wow.
from a 71. This is from the 71. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
Hold on. I'm trying to fix it. This is from the 71.
This is a vest. This is a vest.
This is the vest. Look at that.
Yeah.
You can literally see the bullet that went
Wow.
into the magazine and into the bulletproof vest, and of course the protection itself. This is how it looks. Look at that. I'm
Wow.
gonna send it to you
And
now.
in both cases, the soldier wasn't hurt.
In both cases, the soldier was completely great, all good, thanks God.
Oh my God!
Yes.
So this is an example I just want to show you one more. Just give me a second. I'm trying to add it over here. There it is. And this is how you can see that the protection itself managed to, oh, yeah, there it is. This
Yeah.
is the bulletproof itself.
Wow.
This is the shield. Now, guys,
Wow.
This
if
is
we hadn't had that, most likely this soldier got killed.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys.
Oh my God. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Uh, a lot of people, I'm sure most people would not know this, but one of your jobs is that soldiers that fall in the Barrack Brigade, which the engineering corps that where the 7 were lost, that's part of the Barrack Brigade. Um, you go and visit with the families. You go, and that's a hard job. That's a hard job. And looking at this equipment, I mean, everybody looks at it and says, "Thank God that this person didn't get killed." I would, if I had to go and sit with the families of the boys that did die, I would want the best equipment. And I would want every soldier to have everything he needs to give him the best chance of being like the soldiers that were wearing this equipment.
And I just want to, Joe, just to show you another one. Have a look. This is a helmet of a D9 from our engineering corps.
Yeah.
This is the helmet of a D9 operator that the D9 got hit by an anti-tank missile.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Look at the
Oh.
helmet, how it sustained
Wow.
the rocket that was fired upon him. This is a picture from the inside of the D9. Okay?
Yes. Now
I
a
mean,
D9, that's one of the big bulldozers that are armored
Right.
bulldozers that they use to demolish the buildings and clear the rubble out.
True.
Mm.
So yeah, I think the picture speaks by itself.
They
And
do.
yeah, and the picture that I've just showed you, the soldier itself, his name is Ariel. He is right now in Sheba Hospital. He arrived there a week ago. Yeah, a week and a day, 8 days ago. And in the beginning, they didn't knew if he's going to survive. And right now, he's talking to his family. His grandmother and grandfather were on a trip. They are 86 years old. They were on a trip in Thailand, and we have managed to bring them back to Israel in a very in an emergency flight. And thanks to that helmet, he survived. So that's all thanks
Wow.
to you guys and to your donation.
Uh, I'll tell you what, just seeing the pictures, just uh, they tell a story that you couldn't write in an encyclopedia.
It leaves you speechless.
Yes.
Yep.
Really,
Yes. Okay, so we have a pending ceasefire. 8 to 10 hostages will be released. How about the bodies of slain hostages?
Unfortunately, they are not talking about that at this stage. Personally, I believe it's a wise thing. Bring the people that are alive first.
Yes, I would
We'll
agree.
deal with the rest
yeah,
afterwards.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to share with you that I don't understand why. I don't understand why we are not bringing everybody. But that's the situation. Everybody, Joe, everybody in Israel, specifically in the army, are looking towards the fact that we need to end it. We need to stop it. And I
Yeah.
think everybody, like you're playing basketball, for almost 42 minutes, and this last 30 seconds you don't have enough air.
Yeah.
That's where you are.
Yeah. But
That's where you
got to get all the hostages back.
You got to get rid of Hamas. Well,
Get rid of Hamas.
so that's
Now,
we'll see how that happens. Yeah, we'll see how that happens.
now, I've been going to Israel for 35 years, 35, 36 years, I think. And one of the things that I never thought that I would see where Syria would even be talking about any kind of peace. And so
without giving up any territory.
Right, without giving up, because they've always demanded to go on high.
Israel doesn't have to give up anything.
Right. Right.
Not only that, I think that once the war started, once this Iron Sword started, the Israeli army took a perimeter, right, beyond the Golan Heights. Isn't that correct, Roi?
This is absolutely correct.
And they insist on keeping it.
Yes, correct.
They insist on keeping it.
Yeah.
So not only are we not giving away territory, we're gaining some territory.
And
which is a whole change of a way of thinking.
It's a complete change of the way of thinking.
Is this where the Druze villages are?
Yes, it's one part, and that's mainly on the north side of the Golan Heights.
Yeah.
But also in the south part, which, by the way, if you remember, we spoke about it so much, areas that we know that Al-Qaeda is there and some other terrorist organization, the Iraqi militia. We are trying to get much better position and to get much better understanding of where we are.
And keep the Hermon, keep the head, the crown of the Hermon, the Syrian part of Mount Hermon.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Israel will be keeping that.
Yeah.
Israel will be keeping it unless we will talk about some serious peace negotiation, and then things will look different.
You don't talk about peace here. Peace is when Messiah comes. You can talk about arrangements and normalization, whatever you want. But
and by the way, Joe, even in Hamas with
good.
Gaza, we are keeping the perimeter area that we have managed to take over. The Barrack corridor, Philadelphia corridor, all of those areas, Israel is not withdrawing away from there.
Yes.
We are still sitting there. We need to be there. We need to gain control. And as we said earlier, a lot of things have changed. We are not
on another October 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
If you all remember, about 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, we had a conflict with Hezbollah about a tent that was in our area. Now you are not in this place anymore. Literally half an hour ago, we have bombed in the Beirut-Sidon road because we got an indication about a Hamas terrorist that is driving over there, and Israel is acting right now freely, and of course without any fear.
Yeah.
Yes, and the funny thing is that the spokesman in Arabic, Edrei, actually notifies civilians to get away from bombed areas. But the joke is that the Christian Lebanese girls asked him to delay the bombing because they're going to the beauty salon. Literally. They brought these things on Instagram. Hey, General Edrei, could you please delay the bombing? I need to do my nails.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that the situation is drastically changed in Lebanon. Now, I saw a map that shows the different, Gila had this map of here. Explain it, Gila.
Yeah. Each color is a different faction or religious denomination or a sub-denomination. Each color is like a different group in Lebanon. How do you ever get a country out of all these groups?
Well,
Now
yeah,
the problem is that what you see here is
Yeah.
the best example of the chaos that goes right now inside of Lebanon.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And despite the fact that the Americans and the French are trying to gain kind of control over there, it's almost impossible. It's more than tribes. It's public. It's a Islamic movement opinion. It's some of them are Sheen, some of them are Sunnim. All of them. It's a mix of different culture, and it's almost impossible to negotiate with them.
And or the different ethnic groups.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, but it has drastically changed
Thank you,
just
Corey.
lately.
There is a lot of change
Thank
that
you.
is going on right now. We need to remember one thing important. Lebanon government wants Hezbollah out.
Mm.
And we have reached to a point that Hezbollah is also talking about disarming himself. We need to use this opportunity and we need to reach to a maximum position from our side as Israel.
Okay. Regrettably, we're running out of time. But before we go, remember the pictures that you saw. Remember the lives that have been saved. We still need your donations. There is still fighting that is taking place. You can go to JerusalemTempleStudy.com/David Fund or the little place you can scan in the corner. But please give if you're able to. Roy?
Thank you.
Gila? Thank you.
Toda rabah, guys. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for your help.